What's up, coders? Ever spent hours scrolling through a code base trying to figure out what's going on? Or chased a bug that's hiding in some random file? Yeah, we all been there, right? But what if you could just ask your code what's up and get a clear answer? So that's where my open source project comes in, called Verbal Code AI. This tool is a game changer for understanding code fast, and I'm pumped to show it to you today. Let's talk about why you need this. Code bases could be a mess, especially big ones. Maybe you're new to a project and lost in a bunch of files, or you're debugging and can't find where something's defined. Verbal Code AI fixes that. It's like a smart coding buddy who knows your project inside out. You can ask it questions and it finds answers, and you save a bunch of time. I'll show you how it works with one of my own projects called stockassist.guru, which has about 172 files. It's a website. Is built with Flask, Tailwind, and pure vanilla JavaScript. So how does Verbal Code AI work? It's built in Python. It runs completely on your computer, so your code stays safe. It basically indexes your whole code base, which means that, okay, well, it's separated into three different folders. One is descriptions. So all the files that you have in your code base will have a mini description created about them using 1 to 4 chunks of the file, just to get a clear estimate about what that file is. And then, so every file would have a description of it, and then the second folder is embeddings. This is code embeddings for all your code files, and even text files. So basically, we would chunkify the file and go ahead and make embeddings of it, and also save the code for it. And then the third and final folder is called metadata, and it stores a description of the file, as well as the file hash and the length of the file, how many lines, the name, and some other info. That's used for basically detecting if the index is out of sync and it needs to be updated. So the tool has 3 modes. The first mode is chat mode. It's a simple mode that basically asks the AI to go ahead and grab whatever files are relevant to your query based on the descriptions that we already have. And then from there, we ask the AI to go ahead and get a few different search queries that we're going to use to do an embedding search. And from there, we feed that data back into the AI, and it answers your question based on all the data it found. The second mode is max mode. This mode digs a bit deeper, looking at whole files for complex stuff instead of just snippets of it using your embeddings. So this one works kind of similar to chat with AI mode, but instead we go ahead and attach the whole file's context so the AI actually knows what's going on. The third and final mode that's available is agent mode. This is basically the best mode because it has a bunch of tools available to it, and it can think through what parts it wants to do, like what tool calls it wants to do. It can read files. It can go ahead and web search. It can see your whole directories tree. It can use your Git history. It can do a bunch of cool stuff. So let's get into the demo. So we're going to be doing this with, of course, as I said, Stock Assist, a site of mine which has about 172 files. So here's it starting up. So the first thing you have to do is go and press 1, which is to index the code. Even if it's already indexed, this is just to go ahead and set what code base you'll be working with. So as you can see, the directory is already, the last one that I was working with is stock assist. So you can basically just press enter if it's already that one, or press and enter a new path. So now it's going to be checking the index. And as you can see, there's no indexes needed because we already have the whole file base indexed. Alright. So let's test out the first chat mode, which is the option 2. And what we'll ask it is, let's say, who are all the team members in this project, right? And we'll press enter. So we basically have 3 team members in the project, and it should be able to find that pretty easily. I'm actually using a local LLM right now, so that's why it could be a little bit slow. But if you're using a better model, it's going to be much faster. Alrighty. So as you can see, it has successfully found the 3 members that are part of the project, which is me, my friend, which is the CEO, and the COO, which is the 3rd person. That's a quick, pretty good example of showcasing stock verbal code AI, of it finding information. So let's go ahead and test out the second mode, which is agentic mode. We do have the max mode, which is pretty much similar to chat with AI, which is the second mode, so I'm going to be skipping that just for saving time here. So let's go to 4. Let's go ahead and ask it. So in this code base, we have a file called routes.py. So how about we ask it all the routes inside of it, right? Or let's go ahead and ask it, what is this code base about? Can you explain to me? Right? Okay, so now it's thinking. Okay, it's pretty quick. It thought about that. And now it's basically getting the project description, which is a tool. When you index your code base, we have a project description about your code base. Alright, and as you guys can see, it's a pretty good explanation. It's a pretty lengthy one, actually. So let me go ahead and expand the actual terminal here to go ahead and showcase this to you guys. So Stock Assist code base overview. This code base represents the Stock Assist project, an AI project powered financial analysis and adversary platform designed to provide real-time market information. The project appears to be a Flask-based web application with a focus on database migration. So then it gets into the directory structure. As you can see, this is the breakdown of main directories and their purposes. I'm going to skip reading this because otherwise the video would be too lengthy. But you can pause it and read it for yourself. And key technologies. Let's say you were onboarding someone. This would be really important because first, they have a full explanation about all the directories and the files and their explanations. Second, knowing the technologies behind the actual project is really important, so the person can get familiar with it. So there's a summary, there's key technologies, and then the overview of the whole project. So let's go ahead and ask it, what are all the routes that are defined in the routes.py, right? In the routes file. Let's not go ahead and tell it the full file, right? List them, right? List all of them back to us. So here it starts doing file stats, which is a tool which would tell it how many lines are in this file. And then it starts reading this file. And now it's coming up with this final answer. So let's see what it does here. And it successfully got all the routes back, which is really amazing because this file is actually pretty big, and me having to go through it myself would have took me about, let's say, 20-25 minutes just reading it and understanding it. So how about we go ahead and ask it, let's say, let's go ahead and say, how does the news route work, right? How does the news route work, right? Okay, so it's thinking right now. So it's reading the file real quick. And let's go and see. It's getting its final answer. And then we'll see what it responds with. So it has came back with a bunch of information that's really helpful to us. Alright, news route functionality in news.py. We do have another folder for this one, and basically the news.py file located in routes directory defines the API endpoint and view for fetching and displaying news articles. It utilizes the Flask framework to handle HTTP requests and responses. It provides both a web page /news and a API endpoint API news for retrieving news data. And then it went ahead and gave us the route definitions, what routes are available and how do they work, with the method, the purpose, and the rate limits. This is another important thing, how it structures the information, which it gave us really detailed information. If I was new to the code base or trying to go and explore it, this information is enough for me to understand how these routes work, and it gave us code snippets of the routes. Pretty nice. Let's go ahead and also let's go ahead and try to ask it something. Let's say you were debugging and you wanted to see, let's say, where the payment processing code lies in this project, right? Since we do have it. So the first thing, let's go and ask it, what are the payment processors that are being used in this code base, right? So now it's going to go ahead and start thinking. So let's also go and read what it does over here. So the user is asking about payment processors used in this code base. This requires identifying, so we'll get back to that, identifying any code related to a payment processing, which includes specific payment processing names, blah, blah, blah. So it did a little grep search, which is amazing. Then it went ahead and evaluated the step. The previous grep search identified Stripe as a payment processor in the blueprint /payments.py. And then it went ahead and evaluated the step again after another grep search. So now it also finds that we're using OxaPay. And then it goes ahead and comes up with this final answer. So here we can see its final answer is, here is the information about the payment processors used in this code base based on the search results. The code base utilizes the following payment processors: Stripe and OxaPay, and then it has some details about where the imports lie, what lines they lie on, and what files are responsible. Amazing, right? Like, if I had this tool before, this would be so much more helpful, especially when I'm working on a project with someone that I'm not familiar with. This would have been amazing. So why is verbal code AI such a big deal? It helps you save hours of work. It helps you basically not jump around a code base for hours trying to figure out what it does. It guides you by showing you basically a way to get started. So if you want to go ahead and learn about something in the code base, it will give you a good head start. It can even possibly help you find out everything that you need. So this saves you a bunch of time and effort. If you were to go ahead and use another AI agentic tool, it would not be as good as Verbal Code AI at finding the necessary stuff needed. And since this is all going to be open source, and you can pick what models you want to use. And remember, this you can set up basically the description model, what model you want to use for descriptions, what model you want to use for chatting, what model you want to use for embedding, and you can set different providers for each one. You can currently set OpenRouter, OpenAI, Google, and Ollama. I'm working on adding Anthropic to the mix, and Grok with a Q and Grok with a K. So yeah, ready to try it? If you're ready to try it, I'm gonna put the GitHub link in the description, and you can go ahead and go check it out, download it, set it up, and let me know what you think about it. And if you want to go and help out, contribute to the project, drop a comment, tell me how well it did with your code base, and subscribe and like for more tools that I will be releasing. And I'll be continuing to work on this project and bringing new projects to help the developer community. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Sorry for taking a long time to go ahead and post again. I'm just new to YouTube, and honestly, I had to go ahead and basically take a little break and work on this project and a few other projects. And I love you guys. Subscribe and hit the thumbs up.